Big week from Apple. They launched the MacBook Neo, a $599 entry Mac powered by an A-series iPhone chip, and refreshed the Pro line with new M5 Pro and M5 Max chips. Short shipping timeline too. Pre-orders open and devices arrive March 11.
Yep, Neo is the headline grabber because of the price and the A18 Pro inside. Apple basically shoehorned an iPhone Silicon Mac into a MacBook shell to hit that sub-$600 mark.
It sounds great on price, but what did they trade away to get there?
A fair bit. Fixed 8 gigabytes of unified RAM with no upgrades, limited storage tiers, 2 USB-C ports with different speeds, no Thunderbolt, no MagSafe, a mechanical trackpad, and an unlit base keyboard. Good build and battery life for the price, but it's clearly for light users and students, not video editors.
And the M5 Pro/Max for the high end?
New Fusion architecture. More high-performance cores and configurable GPUs up to 40 cores. Apple claims about 30% CPU gains over last gen. New 14 and 16-inch Pros start north of $2,199, targeting pros who need sustained performance.
So Apple's covering both budget and pro ends, plays both sides of the market.
Exactly. Neo undercuts rivals and brings Apple cachet to budget buyers. The M5 chips keep pros invested. Just be mindful of Neo's limits if you need pro workflows.
Moving on. Apple also opened pre-orders for the iPhone 17e, their lower-cost take on the iPhone 17, priced around $599 and shipping March 11th.
Right. It runs the A19 and iOS 26 with Apple Intelligence, but pairs back things like ProMotion, some camera features, and battery capacity. It does add MagSafe and faster wireless charging, though.
Hands-on reactions seem mixed. What's the verdict so far?
Reviewers call it straightforward. Pretty, competent, but intentionally trimmed. People like the updated portrait processing and the new pinkish finish, but long-term battery and durability tests are still pending.
And carriers are making this tempting, right?
Very. AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile rolled out aggressive bill credit and trade-in offers that can make the 17e effectively free if you qualify. So it's a savvy play. Lower price plus promotions equals lots of first-time upgraders.
So the 17e widens the funnel, cheaper entry but fewer flagship features.
Exactly. Great for buyers who want new-gen software and performance without flagship extras.
On Android side, Google's Pixel 10 is on a solid discount and the Pixel 10a arrives March 5th, a modest but repair-friendly refresh.
The Pixel 10 deal makes it a compelling buy right now. Woot had a 128GB unlocked unit at about $599. Meanwhile, the Pixel 10a brings brighter displays, Gorilla Glass 7i, IP68, and easier repairs.
Reviews called the 10a a side grade. Is that fair?
Mostly. It's iterative. A brighter 120Hz screen, improved glass, and a slightly refined design. Some outlets praise the value and repairability. Others call it lazy. For mid-range buyers, it remains a very sensible option.
Google also teased a March Pixel drop. What's that about?
Pixel drops are feature bundles. Camera and assistant improvements, UI enhancements, AI features rolling out to existing devices. It's Google's way of keeping current phones feeling fresh between hardware cycles.
So if you're deciding between a discounted Pixel 10 and waiting for the 10a, you're really choosing power versus price and repairability.
Precisely. And with the Pixel drop, software keeps adding value after purchase.
Politically charged tech news. President Trump hosted tech CEOs and pushed a ratepayer protection pledge to keep AI data center growth from raising household electric bills.
The pledge has big names: Google, Microsoft, Meta, Oracle, xAI, OpenAI, Amazon. Companies committed to negotiate separate rates, pay for infrastructure, and pursue dedicated power so local ratepayers aren't on the hook.
Sounds good on paper, but there's skepticism.
Absolutely. Observers point out the pledge is voluntary and complex to implement. Data centers are only one factor in rising demand and electricity pricing. Negotiating new contracts and building dedicated power takes time and capital.
So this is partly PR and partly a real policy effort.
Both. The administration frames it as consumer protection ahead of elections, while companies highlight existing models and local hiring commitments. Real impact will depend on enforceable contracts and follow-through.
Worth watching as a test case of public-private energy arrangements.
Exactly, and whether voluntary promises translate into measurable relief for communities hosting these centers.
Last story. TikTok US users face disruptions again after an Oracle Cloud infrastructure issue. This was the second Oracle-related outage for TikTok in just over a month.
Creators reported posting delays and partial outages, which matters because content ecosystems live and die on reliability. Oracle hosts significant parts of TikTok's infrastructure, and OCI's outages raise red flags.
How big a problem is this for TikTok and for cloud trust more broadly?
Recurring outages erode creator and user confidence. For TikTok, it's especially sensitive during ownership and JV transitions. For the cloud market, it's a reminder that redundancy and multi-cloud strategies still matter. No vendor is infallible.
Any quick takeaways for platforms and developers?
Build for failure. Multi-region, multi-provider fallbacks, robust caching, and graceful degradation. And from a business view, customers should factor operational SLAs and incident history into vendor choices.
Nicely put. Always assume a cloud could sneeze.
Exactly. Carry the virtual umbrella. The preceding audio summary was created at jesterengine.com, where you can find and verify the original sources.